Ready, Baruch Hashem. We're starting a new Parsha. This is from the talks of Shabbos, the Parsha of Savo, Kitavo of Savo, the 21st of Elul, 5751. It's as I said, it's from this book that we're learning. It's a bilingual. The only one that's really available now, I think, the bilingual translation of Dvar Malchus. And we have the original that was published by Sefer. I was going to tell a story, interesting story. My friend translated. I've been helping him, encourage him to put it on Amazon, and Baruch Hashem, things are working. So we were having trouble getting permission, but the Rebbe gave Zalman Chanin the permission to write all his to publish all his books. So I was having trouble getting permission. That's why the Sikhs. I was trouble getting permission from him. He couldn't do it. So I just said, well, I'll just go talk to the guy. And he was having all kinds of problems. It was mamish pratis. I talked to the person. I think it was his son. Has his number. I call him up. I go over there. Very nice man. But he told me an interesting story, which all Dvar Malchus was talking about the from Atzmus and Muz. We're tied into the essence of the Eibishter. So he told me a story that a chassid went to the Rebbe. He didn't have any children. So he asked the Rebbe what he should do. So the Rebbe says when you put on your tefillin, you should think about your iskashus to the Rebbe. So, he did this, and right away he got pregnant. His wife got pregnant and had a child. So he told me he was telling this. I mean, because generally you tell this. Generally, it says when you put on tefillin, you're supposed to think about how their mind, the moach, is shalat al vibe, how your intellect, your mind controls your heart. But the Rebbe said to do this, so he did it. And then he told me a story that he was telling this in a Fabrinyan, and a guy came a year later and told him that I heard what you said. We didn't have any children, so I started doing this when I put on my tefillin, and then we got another child. So I'm thinking about, everything has to do with Asmas and Muz and Geula Shleima. And the whole idea of bringing children into the world is a revelation of Atzmus, that you're showing that the continuation there's infinite to continuation. So here it is that the Rebbe represents, as I've said in some of my classes and some of my shir, I may go over it a few more times. Is really the level of Atzmus, the essence of the Eibishter that's enclosed in him. And it's in a revealed way we can see by the Rebbe. So anyway, this was very interesting. I had to get the translation. Okay, so let's start. Okay, now we're on number one. In continuation to the commandment in our Parsha regarding the mitzvah of the bringing of the first fruits of the Bikurim to the Beis HaMikdash, the Bikurim, and it says Vidor Meiser. What's Vidor Meiser? Is that they used to come and tell Hashem that there's a whole language that we see in the Chumash about how where I came from, different things. This whole text and everything, it was part of it. Besides bringing it, and upon entering the land of Israel, this happened when we entered the land, and with this Moshe completed the explanation of the Torah to dictate the mitzvahs that Hashem commanded him, which he began on the 11th month, on the first day of the month, on the other side of the Jordan, the river, in the land of Moab. Moshe began to speak about the general fulfillment of the entire Torah and all the mitzvahs, and the covenant between Hashem and the Jewish people regarding this. For I have already completed telling you all of it in the book of Mishnah Torah, Deuteronomies. Today, Hashem, your God, commanded you to do these statutes and laws. And the Rebbe is going to explain over here that we see all these general laws and everything Hashem is talking about. How does this tie into the Bikurim? How's that tied into everything? So today, Hashem, we're standing ready to go into Israel. Today, Hashem, your God commanded you to do these statutes and laws. And you should guard and do them with all your heart and all your soul. And after this, it says, guard the entire command that I commanded you today, that it will be on the day that you pass over the Jordan River into the land. You shall erect for yourself big rocks, and you should write on them all the words of this Torah, and the Jewish people will heed, they write everything down, heed and hear today. You have become a nation to Hashem, that your God, and you shall heed the voice of Hashem, your God, and do His mitzvahs. And afterwards, in the continuation of the Parsha, it speaks about at length about the words of the covenant that Hashem commanded Moshe to make with the Jewish people in the land of Moab, in addition to the covenant that they made with them at Mount Sinai, including the final words of the Parsha. And you should guard the words of this covenant and do them so that you will be successful on your ways. And this is the topic continues also in the following Parshas, Netzabim, Vayeda, Chazinim, Vazosabracha, of all the rest of the Parshas of the book of Devorim, where it discusses not specific mitzvahs, rather the covenant regarding the Torah and the mitzvahs in general, and in a general matter connected to this. And the general matters connected. So it's telling you generally what we have to do, not specific. So we see that this is a general ideas, over encompassing ideas. So since the commandment, the covenant for the Torah and the mitzvahs in general is written following the mitzvahs of Bikurim as a long passage, we may say that they have related content, as is known that the accuracy of all aspects of the Torah, also the order of the Torah. So in other words, Rebbe is saying we're going to have to understand why is this tied to the whole generality of the whole Torah. Especially, I was actually talking about in Shechem. The Rebbe sent me to Shechem years ago, 1993. I was there for almost a year, and we went to the place on Grizim, I think it was, where they have the rock that has all the names on it, one of the monuments. It's amazing over there. Anyways, okay. And especially according to the explanation of Rashi, today Hashem your God commands you, and that you should guard and do them, is a blessing that comes for the fulfillment of the mitzvah Bikurim, which is discussed before this. It says, a voice from heaven blesses him, and you brought the Bikurim today, and you should repeat this today. What's he saying here? So today I'm going to, especially according to the explanation of Rashi. Rashi explains over there. It says, "Today Hashem your God commands you, and you should guard them," is a blessing that comes from the fulfillment of the mitzvah Bikurim. So all the things that we're going to do comes with Bikurim, which is discussed before this. It says, "A voice from heaven blesses him, and you brought Bikurim today, and you should repeat this in the coming year." So this is the Rebbe is again emphasizing that Bikurim has a special relevance to everything. Furthermore, the covenant of the Torah and the mitzvahs in general is written in the same parsha as the mitzvahs Bikurim. That's another thing that ties them together. And the beginning of the parsha regarding Bikurim, which is the beginning of everything, even regarding how the people talk, and most certainly in holiness and Torah, leads to and has a connection to the continuation of it. In other words, it says that this is the beginning, as it ties into everything. So now we must understand what is the relationship between the mitzvah Bikurim and the covenant regarding the acceptance of the Torah and mitzvahs. All the Torah and the mitzvahs, seemingly, Bikurim is one specific mitzvah among all the mitzvahs of the Torah, and has specific conditions and limitations in time, and place, and person, and type. Everything's limited. It's not like a general mitzvah, like loving Hashem. And in the time, it had been the time of the base of Mikdash stood, specifically from the 7 species which the land of Israel is praised, and from the church. So not only the 7 species, the 7 olives, grapes, wheat, different things. I have to look them down. He explains them over here. But all these things is what we would have to bring. So it's not everything. Rebbe's pointing out it's specific. Everything is specific. It's not general. Okay. specific conditions, limitations of time, place, and person and time, specifically in the land of Israel, in the time of the base of Mikdash stood, specifically from the 7 species with which the land of Israel is praised, and from the choices of them, not only the 7 species, as the best part of them, they're very detail-oriented. And specifically, one who has land in the land of Israel, and praiseworthy land. The passage should become said only in the joyous time for Shavuos until Sukkot, and more. What is the connection with this? Today Hashem, your God, commands you, which refers to all the mitzvahs which the Jewish people are obligated in every time and every place. As the commentary of Rashi on the verse says, every day shall be new in your eyes, as if that day itself you were commanded to do them. So every time is like God is giving us right now this thing. Also, so what's the connection with this specific mitzvah, which is very detailed, very limited in when, time, how, everything. We must understand regarding the name of the Parsha, Savo, Keep Savo, we have spoken many times regarding the names of the Parshas. But the name expresses the content of the thing which is called by the name. And based on this, we need an explanation regarding our Parsha, Savo, when you come into the land, means that entering of the Jewish people in the land of Israel, which is seemingly only an introduction and a preparation for the fulfillment of Bikurim, the mitzvah of Bikurim, the first fruits, and the other mitzvahs, which we need to fulfill them after entering the land. So this is preparation for only a preparation, and nevertheless, the entire parsha, beginning with the actual mitzvah Bikurim, including also the covenant regarding the acceptance of mitzvahs in general in our parsha, is called by the name of Savo, Savo, which is nothing more than a preparation and an introduction to the fulfillment of the mitzvahs of the land. So he's asking, what's another question? Is the parsha, the name of the parsha is talking about when you come into the land. So this is just a preparation to doing all the other mitzvahs. So what's this relevance? We have to understand how that's relevant to everything. How the name itself brings questions, explains it. How this is relevant to everything in the parsha. Number 2, we will understand this by first explaining the innovation of the mitzvahs of Bikurim in comparison to the other forms of giving thanks to Hashem. The content of bringing Bikurim and the Bikurim recitation is the recognition that from Hashem we received all the blessings in the world. The blessings Hashem gives a Jew are the abundance of grain and fruits in his field, which therefore he gives to Hashem from the first of all the fruits of the land, from the first and the best fruit of the field, and thanks Hashem, and he's not ungrateful for the fruits that Hashem blessed him, and with all the kindnesses of Hashem, and you should answer and say before Hashem, with these all things we say in the Chumash of the laws of the language that we're talking to Hashem and thanking Him for the Bikurim. And he should relate the kindness of Hashem upon us and upon the entire Jewish nation in general. The whole meaning of it, we're understanding that this has to do with gratitude. That the feeling of gratitude to Hashem for all His kindnesses, and therefore saying thanks and giving praise to Hashem, is a general concept in the life of a Jew, beginning immediately when one arises from his sleep through the recognition and declaring Modani lefanecha, that I am thankful before you for returning you my soul to me. And this is the foundation, the gate to his service of Hashem. This is everything. We're thankful, this brings everything, which is continued in the blessings and the prayers that we say. We thank you for our life, which is placed in your hands, and for your wonders and goodness at all times, evening, morning, and afternoon. And we say this many, and in the numerous birkos hanenim, birkos, the blessings for pleasure. So we're always saying Hashem, which a Jew blesses and thanks Hashem throughout the whole day, every day, for every good and pleasure that he receives, including and mainly the blessing after the meal, which is a biblical obligation from the Torah, who provides sustenance to the entire world with goodness, favor, kindness, and mercy. So I'm talking about gives. Furthermore, even among the nations of the world who believe and recognize that Hashem is the creator and the conductor of the world, there's the custom to thank Hashem for giving them food, etc. So this is like Rebbe's, when they have to understand what it means to give thanks. And this is even more emphasized according to the known Torah insight of the Baal Shem Tov, explained in detail by the Alter Rebbe in Shara Yichud Ramuna, the beginning, that the creation of the entire world is renewed every day and every moment, which is a boundless kindness of Hashem, the creator of the world, to every created being, which affects everything is created every second. So Hashem is being nice to me and bringing into creation every second, which affects the created being. You have to think about this amazing thing. And what's it mean? The Rebbe talking about it. Yeah, we created every second. It means a kindness from Hashem. The Rebbe is telling us how to look at it and how to understand it, which affects the created being and brings him to deep recognition and feeling that he and all that is around him completely depends on the constant kindness of Hashem. I was actually I used to live in a city outside Crown Heights, about an 8-hour drive. So we used to go in, this was 91, 92, and part of 93, I think. So we used to go in to see the Rebbe, especially after the Rebbe got sick. He used to come out regularly for a few minutes on the balcony, and he would look at everybody, and then he would go back in. So, so the Rebbe, when he was on the balcony, it was later when it was like one look from the Rebbe was like a Farbringen and Yechidus. I had several private Yechiduses and everything all put together. So one time the Rebbe was looking at me a lot. One time he kept looking at me, and I just felt this energy in me. So we would leave mostly Shabbos from where we are, and then we'd stay Sunday, and then around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we'd start driving back. And so we'd always drive back when the sun was coming up. I was driving, and I remember we got out, and the sun was coming up, and I could feel that it says that Abraham should makes the world anew every day. I could feel that. I sensed that. The Rebbe was able to implant this spirit, this spiritual power, whatever you want to call it, that I experienced it. As everybody's talking about here, the world is constantly created new. And Hashem is doing this, makes great kindness for Hashem that he's doing this. That in the mitzvahs of Bikurim we find, however, an innovation, a deeper and more concrete expression of being thankful to Hashem. The Jew expresses his feelings of gratitude for the kindness not only in speech, rather he expresses it even in a stronger way, in action. What's he do? He takes it. He takes from the first fruit of the field, and he brings it into the base of Mikdash. He brings this to the house of Hashem your God. The Rebbe is quoting the Pesukim, to the place that Hashem your God will choose to make his name dwell there, and he leaves it before Hashem, and places it. It says, and places. It says the pasuk says it places before Hashem, and this expresses the complete acknowledgement that the world, it's an amazing thing, that Rebbe how he explains this, the world and all that is in belongs to Hashem, that everything belongs to Hashem. The Jew does not suffice with the acknowledgement that all his wealth comes to him by the kindness of Hashem. It's not good enough. Rather, he shows with his bringing the Bikurim, the first fruits, that also after receiving the bounty of fruit, all this wonderful fruit that grew, and the fruit and all of his possessions, he still belonged to Hashem. Everything is God's, since the world and everything is in it belongs to Hashem, and therefore he brings. Why does he do this? He brings the first of all the fruit of the field, the first and the best, because he wants to thank Hashem that Hashem to give everything is yours. I'm bringing whatever Hashem gave me, the best, the most wonderful, the most amazing stuff. I'm going to bring it. He brings it before Hashem your God, and it remains in the possession of Hashem. And this act of bringing the Bikurim before Hashem your God, in a manner that it remains there permanently, the one bringing the Bikurim is in an even deeper way that he should realize moreover and feel how his entire being and all that is found in his possession belongs before Hashem your God. And since bringing Bikurim in action expresses the recognition not only in thought and speech, as we do through the praise and the blessing of the meal, etc., rather also in action. This permeates his entire being, that all his garments, to the extent that the action overtakes him in a deep way, that also influences speech. Remember, he's so given over and doing this and influence what he has to say, and you should answer and say before Hashem, that affects him, that by bringing this wonderful present to God in the holy base of Mikdash, he's bringing the best he has and thanking Hashem. But his bringing it affects his speech and everything. That he says out loud, and you should, to the extent that the action overtakes him in a deep way, that also influences speech. And you shall answer and say before Hashem your God. That he says it loud, and you shall answer, meaning the raising of your voice with joy, with this thought and intention in it. So he's so happy that he's able to thank Hashem and bring Hashem the most precious things Hashem gave him. So now this is talking about the idea of why Bikurim was so important. And we may say the Rebbe is going to be mechadish something, to make a new thing. The explanation of this, that our sages say that the Jewish people are called Bikurim. We're called the firstborn, first. As the verse says, the first of the fruit of the fig tree have received your fathers. The Jewish people are sacred to Hashem. The first of his grain, he's bringing down different pasukim in areas where we see in the Torah where we're called the first. For just as Bikurim is an idiom for babach, firstborn, are the first of the fruit of the field, and Bikurim comes before all other tithes, etc. It's the first one you give out before you give anything out. Likewise, the Jewish people are the beginning of the world, preceding and higher than all that was created. The thought of the Jewish preacher preceded everything, which is one with Hashem. As our sages say in the verses, in the beginning Hashem created the heavens and the earth, that the world was created for the Jewish people who are called the beginning of his grain, Bikurim. And this applies not only to the souls of the Jewish people in general above, in heaven, or to the Jewish people in general below, rather to every single Jew below, men, women, and children. As our sages say, each and every one is obligated to say, the world was created for me. Hashem created everything's for me, and every single Jew must say that the world was created for him. And just as you know, see what we got here. So, and just as the Mamish was saying, the whole world, I worked I'm a CPA, because I've worked for many rich people. I've helped different organizations, seen a lot of money going out. And, when a person, honest, good Jew, realizes that Hashem blessed him with a lot of money, so he says, I have to, you see, this amazing stuff, this was all from Hashem given to me, I have to give it out. So each one of us has more than that. We have the whole world. So we have to take everything Hashem gives us, take the whole world, and you make it a dwelling place for Hashem. That's what we're talking about here, making a base of Mikdash. That's what we're doing. And Jesus says the literary Bikurim must be brought into Yerushalayim and left in the base of Mikdash before Hashem your God. Likewise, it is also regarding the Jewish people, being that they are the Bikurim. We are the firstborn of the world. That the true place of a Jew, and every Jew, is before Hashem your God. We're mamash, sitting right in front of Hashem. That's where I belong, in the base of Mikdash. Since the main and true essence of a Jew, also a soul in the body below, is his godly soul, which is a portion of Hashem from above, literally, to the extent that in the known words, that the Jewish people and Hashem are completely one. And therefore every Jew, whatever state he may find himself in, is connected and united with Hashem, and therefore he must also be in a revealed way before Hashem your God. That we have to realize that we're mamish standing in front of Hashem. Lifnei, what's it mean before? Lifnei Hashem Elokecha in Hebrew, before. But both in the simple meaning, in the presence of close to Hashem, as well in the deeper sense, in an idiom for panemius, the innermost, in the innermost of Hashem, your God. that the Jewish people and Hashem are completely one. So one, that we're standing right before Hashem. Like I'm standing like in front of him, Hashem. We're very close. The other one is a much higher level, that we're mamish one with Hashem. That the Jewish people and Hashem completely one. For although the entire world is created by Hashem, nevertheless the world is created only as a means for the Jewish people that are called the first. The world it's just created for us to make a holy place for Hashem, and as a result, it does not reach the inner lifnei will and intention of Hashem, your God, whereas the Jewish people, or the Bikurim, the first, that the purpose is they themselves. It's very amazing stuff. So the Rebbe says, okay, so the reason Hashem created the world, that we're the reason He created the world. Let's go over it. We'll read it and I'll go over it again. It's very important stuff. For the Jewish people are called the first, and as a result, it does not reach the inner lifnei will and intention of Hashem your God, that's the world, whereas the Jewish people are who are the Bikurim, the first, the purpose is in they themselves. There's a footnote on here, 59. And all the other things are created for the Jewish people, since the Jewish people and Hashem are completely one. Therefore, they are connected to Lifnei, the innermost part of Hashem, your God. And also the concept. He says in footnote 59, and also the concept, I was created to serve my Creator, which would seemingly denote that they are not a purpose in themselves, rather in order to serve Hashem. Behold, that being that the Jewish people and Hashem are completely one, indeed, this itself is that they were created to serve their Creator is what they are. This is what we do. And see this, I don't know why he's bringing down. Anyway, so the Rebbe explaining over here, Mom, that we're just totally given over to Hashem. And we were created just to serve Hashem. So it says that the purpose of that they themselves, it says that my being is just to serve Hashem. And all the other things that are created for the Jewish people. So everything is created in the world for us to serve Hashem. Since the Jewish people and Hashem are completely one, therefore they are connected to Lifnei, the innermost Hashem, your God. So we're mamish one with the essence of God Himself. It's wonderful. Rebbe explained that's how we hold it. This is what's happening. This is what's revealed by Geula, and it's all being revealed now. And as Havaya, the name Hashem given to the Greater, becomes Elokecha, your God, speaking to an individual, not Elokechem. So Hashem Elokecha, your God, not Elokechem, your God, speaking to a group, that your strength and your vitality, since every Jew, even when he finds himself as a soul in the body below, which was created from the name of Havaya, as he is vested in Elokecha, another name of God, that your strength and your vitality is on the level of Bikurim, that my whole being, my strength and what is from Bikurim. What's this mean? As mentioned before, that each and every job is obligated to say that the world was created for me. And we do not differentiate between one Jew and another Jew. Rather, each and every one, literally, even a person that is on a low level externally, is obligated to say that the world was created for me. So everybody has to say this. From this, it is understood. So now we're talking about that Hashem is created and He's in charge. And he created everything for me because I'm just here to serve Him. From this is also understood that the fact that a Jew is before Hashem, your God, must permeate the entire life of a Jew in general, and also in its details. A Jew must feel that every detail of his life is part of a Bikurim for Hashem, not only when he's occupied in godly matters, Torah and mitzvahs and fulfillment of mitzvahs, rather even when he's occupied with mundane matters, things of livelihood and the like. Indeed, being that they are mundane matters of a Jew, they are also part of the phenomenon of Bikurim. That the firstborn, as a result, they must be permeated with the fullest and highest amount of blockings and holiness, as benefits something that is done before Hashem your God. The Rebbe saying over here is very interesting. I'm going to read it over again. It's so interesting. Let's go over it again. From this, it is understood that the fact that a Jew is before Hashem your God must permeate the entire life of a Jew in general, and also in its details. A Jew must feel that every detail is part of Bikurim. That I'm the Bikurim, the firstborn. For Hashem, everything is for Hashem. Not only what he's occupied in godly matters, when he's occupied in Torah study and fulfillment of mitzvahs, or even when he's occupied with the mundane matters of livelihood and the like. Indeed, being that they are mundane matters of a Jew, represents the word Jew, they are also part of the phenomenon of Bikurim. The Jews are Bikurim. And as a result, they must be permeated with the fullest and highest amount of godliness and holiness as benefits something that is done before Hashem your God. So therefore, just like by the Bikurim we had to bring before Hashem, we brought the best of everything, the most special, and we talked and thanked Hashem for everything. It's the same thing here, that the person said everything that a person in his life is Bikurim. Everything a person's life was created for me, so I have to permeate everything with this level, special level of godliness. And even Zygazun to everybody, we're going to start like another class right now. This was number 1. We'll start right away number 2.